Now at 5:30, we are learning more about a police chase this morning that stretched across two central Kentucky counties. I'll tell you where it all began.
A Western Kentucky teenager has died after a tragic accident on a football field in Hopkinsville.
And police are asking for the public's help with information after a Fort Campbell soldier was gunned down outside his home.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. It's finally your Friday. It's August 14th. Welcome in to WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope you had a great week. You know, some of the kids were back in school starting on Wednesday. So it's been quite an eventful week for a lot of folks in Fayette County.
There's been good weather to enjoy, and that seems to follow us into the weekend when we'll start to see some changes. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. It is a beautiful day in store. We head off into the weekend. It's really not all that bad. It does get summer-like, though, meaning you'll see those temperatures rise and also bring in those slight chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Remember, it's a slight chance. Most of us stay dry. 59 degrees now in Frankfort. Some spots were there in the 60s. It's overall just a nice, crisp morning. I mean, you walk outside and you definitely feel it. 84 degrees by the afternoon. It's getting warmer and warmer each and every day, and that takes us off into the weekend. And typically when you see that and clouds start to appear, it typically means at least a chance of rain. We do have that for today and up towards your weekend, but I'll show you where is the best chance coming up in just a few short minutes.
Okay, thank you. Let's get to the news now.
We have some new information this morning on a story we've been tracking out of Bourbon County and Lexington.
Police tell us two people are now in custody after a chase that started in one county and ended in another. WKYT's Victor Puente is live in Paris with what we know at this point. Good morning, Victor.
Lexington police assisted with that chase, but it started when the store behind me was robbed here in Paris. That robbery happened around 8:30 Thursday night. Paris police tell us the clerk at the shoe show here on Letton Drive had a gun pointed at their head during the robbery. They began searching for the vehicle the robber left in. They say when they tried to make a stop, the driver took off, eventually getting on northbound I-75. Drivers there tell us they saw a man abandon his car, run across multiple lanes of traffic, and hop off the interstate. Police say they arrested him on Ward Drive. They also took a second person into custody. They aren't sure if anyone else was involved.
The store was open. There was actually employees in the store, and this suspect came in, actually held a gun to the clerk's head, and demanded money.
Police haven't released the names of the two men who were arrested. Live in Bourbon County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
All right, Victor, thank you. We are learning about a tragic accident that killed a teenager out in western Kentucky.
Hopkinsville police say a 17-year-old died after a piece of football equipment hit him in the head. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain's on our live desk with more on this. Good morning.
Good morning. This is such a tragic accident to such a young life. Javon Quarles was set to begin his senior year at Hopkinsville High School on Tuesday. Unfortunately, the 17-year-old football player was killed yesterday afternoon while trying to help teammates move a large piece of metal equipment. While moving the equipment, the piece accidentally fell and hit Quarles on the head. He later died at the hospital from blunt force trauma to the head. As you can imagine, this accident has been extremely hard on Quarles' teammates.
They're taking it very hard. As I said to someone, you know, when you're a member of a team, you know, it goes beyond just friendships. Sometimes they consider each other more like family, like brothers. So everyone's taking this very hard, but especially the teammates.
Teammates and students of Quarles have been writing on his Facebook page. One friend said, "I can't believe the news. Not one time did I see you upset or sad. You always had a smile on your face. Heaven gained an angel." Such a sad story. The school said that it's not unusual for players to be moving equipment. Police said that Quarles was not wearing a helmet at the time. They are unsure if this accident occurred before or after practice. At the live desk, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Tough situation for all involved there. An inmate from Lexington is recovering after being attacked in a state prison. Happened Wednesday night at the Luther Luckett Correctional Complex in Oldham County. State correction leaders say they found 67-year-old Charles Tackett lying on the floor of his cell. He was taken to a Louisville hospital where he's said to be stable. Corrections leaders say 3 inmates are under investigation for the assault. Tackett is serving a 3-year sentence for charges related to child pornography out of Fayette County.
We're tracking a disturbing case out of Shelby County. A woman has been arrested and charged with making pornographic videos of her young relatives. 35-year-old Melissa Torres and 40-year-old Rafael Mendoza and Orve are charged in the case. Police say Torres originally told them that she was blackmailed into making the videos by an Orve, who is her ex-boyfriend. The images and videos were later found on an Orve's phone when he misplaced it, and a concerned person called police.
We won't tolerate it. We're going to make sure we protect the children. That's the most important thing about the whole case, of protecting them.
The two are due in court next Tuesday. Until then, they're being held at the Shelby County Detention Center.
New this morning, police are looking for clues after a Fort Campbell soldier was shot and killed outside his home this weekend. 21-year-old Lyperial Sevon Easterling had just come home early Sunday morning when the shooting occurred. Police think two men approached him as he walked up. They say nothing leads them to think drug or gang activity was involved, but they're confident there was a witness.
Our detectives have a strong feeling that someone out there knows what happened. And we're just urging those individuals or that individual to come forward.
Police say there's no apparent motive for the shooting. They're not sure if it was random or intentional. Well, detectives from the Louisville Police Department say they have found the remains of a missing woman in the south end of town. Police say a missing persons report led them to the area. They think the remains have been there since June. A woman who lived and worked in the area went missing around the same time. However, they say the process of positively identifying the remains could take months.
Time is 5:36 on WKYT this morning, and Secretary of State John Kerry will lead a historic flag-raising ceremony today to officially mark the reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Havana. His visit marks the first time a Secretary of State has visited that country in 70 years. Henna Daniels has the report on that.
In just a few hours, the American flag will fly over the U.S. Embassy in Havana for the first time in 54 years. 3 U.S. service members took part in a rehearsal ceremony at the embassy Thursday as members of the community looked on. The change in diplomatic relations is something this 31-year-old Cuban woman is looking forward to. When it comes to politics, she says she doesn't care, not when positive things can happen for Cubans, young and old. Still others, like American Lois Schechter, remain skeptical. Her family's farm in Havana was seized by Fidel Castro's regime during the Communist Revolution, and her family fled the country.
If we have relations with Cuba, I don't think we should have them without the reparations.
In a newspaper column published on his 89th birthday yesterday, Fidel Castro repeated claims that the U.S. owes Cuba millions of dollars in damages caused by a long-standing trade embargo. Now that both sides have taken steps to reestablish diplomatic ties, President Obama has called on Congress to lift the embargo.
We don't have to be imprisoned by the past. When something isn't working, we can and will change.
Many Republicans disagree and are calling on Cuba to improve its human rights practices before a trade embargo is lifted. Henna Daniels, CBS News.
And last month, the Cuban flag was raised over Havana's embassy in D.C., marking a historic change in relations between the two countries.
Well, the Rowan County clerk has defied a federal judge's order. Her office is still refusing to issue marriage licenses. Kim Davis wasn't in her office yesterday. The deputy clerk said she was on a scheduled vacation. But the deputy clerk turned away multiple same-sex couples who tried to get a marriage license. Davis's attorneys filed a request to stay the judge's injunction that ordered her to issue licenses. They advised her office not to issue them until her appeal is resolved. The couples who showed up at the office said they've waited long enough.
These people are cruel, and this is wrong, and that's how it is. That is how it is, and that's the bottom line. She's wrong, and these people are cruel to do this to us, and that's how I feel.
Well, the judge ordered both sides in the lawsuit filed against Davis to give him a written response before he'll decide on the stay.
Hundreds of people showed up for the funeral of a Mercer County Navy veteran. No family members claimed Don Koss after he died at the VA hospital in Lexington last month. So Ramsey Young Funeral Home in Garrett County organized a funeral and asked people on Facebook to attend it. The funeral was held yesterday at Camp Nelson National Cemetery in Jessamine County, and most of the people there didn't even know Koss.
Something within my heart just said, you have to be there for this man. You know, he has no one there.
Friends of Koss told us he was a very humble and quiet man who went to church and kept a very low profile.
Well, state economists are predicting a major budget surplus. The Consensus Forecasting Group expects a more than $219 million surplus for the budget year ending June 30th of next year. Experts say there are strong trends in individual income and sales tax collections, but they expect the state's road fund to come up $129 million short this year. The group plans to issue its final budget forecast in December. So budget surplus, two words you always want to hear.
That's right, and that's a strong one for Kentucky, so it'll be interesting. The time this morning is 5:40, 20 before 6, and time to check live drive traffic this morning. Let's see what's going on out there. Here's a look at our Waze map right now, indicating just those closures that we know all about, and hopefully will be ending soon. And that is the Alumni Drive construction going on there.
Between Tate's Creek there and Nicholasville. So the plan is to have that done before football season starts, which is right around the corner, of course.
You can see Rose Street as well, where they've been working for some time, and also a couple of issues in the downtown area. But other than that, everybody's moving along fine this morning. We have no reports of any early issues, but we'll let you know, of course, if you have any things pop up out there. Good to have you along. 5:41 Friday morning on WKYT.
You have to be kidding me. A whole festival dedicated to cat videos? We'll show you more in 5 minutes.
I see what you did there, Rebecca. 64 degrees in Corbin. We're there in Lexington, Richmond, Frankfort at 59. But we are going to be tracking some showers, a couple of thunderstorms for a few of us. And I'll get into that and show you where I expect that coming up.